Hello, welcome to this session about meditation. So the purposes of this video is to introduce you to meditation. I know that you may have been introduced to meditation before, yet at least this way we all begin this month-long meditation immersion on the same level of understanding about what exactly it is that we're doing here and what have we committed to. So I have some visuals to show you, a slideshow about meditation. The intention of this video is to introduce you to what meditation is, why we would want to meditate, and you might have your own answers on that based on your experience so far. And I do encourage you to share those in our private chat group as well. And how meditation applies off the mat or out of the seat, out of our time in meditation and into the other hours of the day, of which there are many. Now, I know you might not live in a city that looks exactly like this, yet for most of us that live in the Western world and in society that's been constructed in a particular way in the Western world, there's a lot to deal with. A lot of us are busy. Success is, for the most part, typically measured on how much we're doing and achieving. And a lot of the advertising that we're bombarded with through, just through street signage, social media, all of these avenues of communication these days, a way of life tends to get promoted that may not be in our best interests. Now, this is so up for debate and is probably a whole another month-long, year-long, maybe lifetime program talking about whether we're doing things right in society or not. But I just wanted to preface this video about meditation with just this understanding of what we have to deal with in life. There are a lot of things going on for us at any one particular moment. Life is full of change. It doesn't stay the same. And I'm sure that you have enough evidence up your sleeve by now of how many years you've been in life and events that have unfolded to know that this is true. And this is a really helpful remembrance to carry with us when we are meditating, is understanding that everything's changing. The law of impermanence. Often we suffer when we forget this, and we as humans forget it all the time. We forget and we want things to stay the same, or we mistake things for being the same, or we expect that things will just be in our control and how we like it, and if it falls outside of that box, we suffer. Well, to remember that change is always happening will serve us so well, and in our meditation, because there's a lot of change that's going on there. So all of these symptoms and areas of life to manage that are listed here, this is just a handful of the ones that I could initially think about, that at any one point in time we could be dealing with an injury or going through an emotional roller coaster in response to a changing event in life. We could be dealing with our own physical health issues. We're all familiar with stress when it arises. Sometimes it hangs around chronically. We all experience judgment and we share in that. We all have relationships of some kind, and those people are changing, and so it can make the way that we're relating with each other always subject to change. This can just be a lot to deal with. So how can meditation help us with all of these things in life that we're managing, that we're dealing with, and the changes that come and go, the good times, the times that don't feel so good? Meditation can help us to become familiar with our position in relation to everything that's going on in life. It helps us to find stillness. Now, the mind not be very still. The mind may not be very still when you sit down in physical stillness. The physical body may not be very still, but the first step for meditation is about just remembering where you are and relaxing as best you can and finding some kind of stillness so that we can see all of the fluctuations, all of the movement that's happening in the body, maybe the breath, and in the mind as well. And what tends to happen as a result of this is that we get a higher perspective on things. Meditation can help us to observe how we're presenting and how we're showing up physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically. We can come to see clearly, and not only that of ourselves, but perhaps even to understand aspects of life around us and in a more clear way. Looking at our life on this planet from this perspective, it's not to undervalue what's going on for you right now, because that can feel very real and that it's your reality right now. Yet looking at it from this kind of perspective, sometimes the things that we place great importance on often aren't in the bigger scheme of things. And with this remembrance that everything changes, including our own existence here on the planet, that is limited in terms of our time here. What are we doing here? What is our purpose? And what is happening on more of a micro level for us on a day-to-day, hour by hour, moment by moment existence? How are we using our time here? And a lot of the time, we're caught up in unnecessary distractions. You'll know what that means for you. I can reel off some of the distractions that creep into my life, like a lot of us, social media, maybe some not so helpful habits, just even domestically, that can sometimes creep in, where could I be focusing on other aspects of life that are actually more important than those things? I won't bore you with the details. So here's how meditation can help us. And first, to clarify, what is meditation? Well, it is just a technique. There's nothing more mystical about it than that. It's not coming from just one religion, although of course its teachings have come through very strongly and clearly and logically through Buddhism, and before that has been practiced for many years in yoga. And there's many cultures and communities around the world that have been practicing meditation in their own way before that. Think of indigenous wisdom and the way that that cultures have been listening deeply to life around them. Meditation is really about listening deeply, and it's this technique. It's really a scientific approach, a step-by-step approach, or a process that we can use to reduce mental distractions. And we all share in this. If you have a mind, and we all do, we experience mental distractions. And so it's a process of training the attention, because if we can't gain some control over what it is that we're mentally attending to, where we're directing our focus and our attention, then the mind will go off on its own tangent. I know that you will have had personal experience of this, because I know you have a mind and I have a mind too. So in this way, when we begin to train the attention in meditation, say, for example, just to focus on one thing at a time, like the breath or the physical body, or gazing at a candle, or repeating a mantra, just one thing, returning the awareness to focus on one thing. What happens is our awareness actually begins to expand, because here's the fourth dot point. We begin to recognize the skillful and unskillful qualities of the mind, and this gives us that higher perspective over our mind. Instead of being so caught up in the content of our mind, now we can observe what's going on in the mind. Mingyu Rinpoche, a very wise monk, he says that to know the mind is wisdom. And so, fifth dot point here, we're cultivating skillful qualities as we're recognizing the skillful and unskillful qualities of the mind. We're cultivating acceptance and patience and trust and clear seeing, being able to see things clearly. This is really, I guess, if there's a goal or ultimate aim, this is it. Just being able to see things as they are, as they're unfolding. And this is a great skillful quality. This is called presence, present moment awareness. So meditation is about habituating or familiarizing the mind. We're creating a habit of mind. We're undoing a lot of habits of mind that were previously created along the way as well. Habits that have been created unconsciously, that is without you meaning to or having any seemingly choice in the matter. You've just followed what you've been focusing on and what you've been paying attention to, and without that higher perspective, sometimes that can be non-beneficial. So now, from here on in, what we're committing to do during this month-long immersion of meditation is to habituate and familiarize the mind, training it to recognize and reduce unhelpful qualities of mind. When the mind slips off into self-judgment, judgment will come up so much, to be honest. It's okay for the judgment to be there, but to recognize that it's there is the key. So this isn't to clean the mind out and have this no thought mind. The perspective we're taking is higher than that. We can allow thoughts to come and go, remembering that they're not forever. They come and go. Emotions to come and go. Judgments to come and go. Can we recognize that they're here and they're passing through and then they're gone? And so while we're reducing unhelpful qualities of mind, at the same time, we're recognizing and increasing helpful qualities of mind, that is being present to what's unfolding, learning how to let go, non-striving, non-doing, coming back to being a human being. Why are we doing this? Why are we habituating, familiarizing the mind to recognize unhelpful and helpful qualities of mind? Well, you might have experienced the fruits of the practice already, and the benefits, of course, can help us with many of these things that we have to manage in life. We, all of a sudden, when these things come up for us, instead of being so captured by the pull of life's events, whether that's happening in our inner world, in the way of thoughts or emotions and body pain, things like this, or whether it's something that's unfolding in your outer world, other people changing, saying things you don't like, relationship issues, job changes, house changes, news, it can help us examine our relationship with life inside of us and life outside of us. And this image, this meme, I really love to help explain why we're doing what we're doing when we're devoting a month-long commitment to meditation and beyond, hopefully. Well, you can be the decider of that. You can wait until the end of the month and see if it's been of benefit for you. Then you can decide whether you want to continue or not. These changes, or here it's referred to as problems that occur in life, or these desires, maybe these attractions, these things that unfold that we want to avoid, that we're in aversion of. We tend to have a habitual reaction to them, or a default reaction. And depending on our perspective of this potential, perceived, possibly real stressor, something that might cause stress, or that does cause stress, what is our reaction to it? Look, this can happen in a pleasant way as well. There's things in life that we want to chase that make us feel good all the time. Often they can be temporary things as well, material things, or sensual delights, or that nice cup of chai on the daily. That's my really strong area of grasping, that cup of chai on the daily. How do we react to it is the question. Is it helpful or is it not helpful? Examining our reaction helps us step more into response. And we will get results based on how we respond to life's unfolding events inside of us and outside of us. So this is really the helpful reason as to why we would meditate, is because we get to see it all. We get to see it all in our seat. We get to see in our own mind, when we sit with it, where these reactions are happening, the processing of the mind in response to events as they unfold, and what's occurring for us. So this is a very personal journey. I'm so glad you're here and we can do this together, because it's so helpful to realize that we all share in similar distractions and obstacles of the mind, and we all share in actually having a mind that is clear and luminous beyond these temporary movements, distractions, and obstacles. Another one of my favorite memes here, scribbling, really helping to visualize what it feels like to have a mind sometimes. Just a little funny. This practice of meditation helps us to relate to who we are on this grand planet of ours, how we're relating to people around us, local and far away, how we're relating to all the beings on the planet, all the sentient beings, how we're relating to our environment. And it shows us connection. It shows us connection, sometimes through showing us where we've become disconnected, where we've become separated from this life that we're having a precious experience of for this limited time. So this pathway of meditation is to point us towards this, remembering that separation is really an illusion and that connection is here for us. And this is all through that very systematic process, non-mystical, rather scientific process of meditation. It's a step-by-step process, and I'm really looking forward to guiding you through this month-long meditation immersion. I hope that this video has been helpful in terms of introducing you to meditation, or reminding you of what it's all about. You may well have been meditating. I know there's a lot of you in here who have been meditating for a long time already. May this have been of benefit, and looking forward to seeing you across the month. Big love.